What makes Bart run? Electricity. That's what makes it run. Without it, everything would stop.
I would say the electric motors. They pick up power from the third rail.
Information via electronic processes to the motors, and the motors make the train run.
Couldn't run without transistors. Modern electronic systems.
Collecting money from satisfied customers. It's that simple, that's all.
People make Bart run. Without us, there wouldn't be a system.
There's no way Bart is going to run without us.
Maintenance. Day in, day out. With us, it's a matter of pride.
I suppose if you had asked Robert Stephenson, builder of the first successful passenger train, what made his railway run, he'd have had a relatively simple explanation. You build a fire. Water is converted into steam. Steam pressures the piston, and the piston turns the wheels, and the train is propelled along the rails. No transistors, no electric motors, no electricity. Well, life was simpler then. In our century, railroads and rapid transit systems need more than a fire under a boiler to make them run. And Bart? Bart is moving transit forward into the next century. When the system was designed, it deliberately set out to take maximum advantage of the finest tools technology had placed at our disposal. There's no simple answer to the question, what makes Bart run? It's an advanced system with many vital components. This yard at Hayward, for example, is probably a good place to start looking at the system. This is where new cars are first delivered to Bart. Major overhauls and repairs, as well as routine maintenance procedures, are also carried out in these shops. The cars with the sloping fiberglass operator's cab at one end are known as the A cars. The others are B cars. Both kinds have aluminum bodies, made on a similar principle to an aircraft's fuselage. All train movement within the yard is controlled at this tower. Hayward Yard is one of 3 points in the Bart system where individual cars are made up into trains, ready for the day's run. The other points are Richmond and Concord. When a train is to be moved through the yard control supervisor asks the computer to find a safe, clear route, automatically switching all the necessary track connections, and show him which track the train should be moving on to reach its proper place in the yard. Trains ready to be dispatched into the mainline service are held here on one of the transfer tracks. It is here and on similar tracks in the other 2 terminal zones that many train operators begin their working day. The panels and switches at the operator's fingertips help bring the train alive throughout its length, telling him when all onboard systems are active and working properly. If there were a malfunction somewhere on the train, an annunciator would light on the operator's console. And for many malfunctions, a blue light would also come on the outside of the affected car. In the yard, the train has been under manual control, moving no faster than 10 miles per hour. Now, instructions to begin the day's scheduled run come from central control. It is at this point that the train enters the automatic mode of train command, the hands-off operation that so fascinates passengers new to the Bart system. Once out on the main line, trains accelerate rapidly to speeds up to 80 miles per hour. They are automatically slowed to safe speeds for curves and grades, and come to a halt in stations at the position most convenient for the waiting passengers. For safety, the train operator has a manual backup capability, but most of the time, train operation is completely automatic. How does it happen? Who or what controls Bart trains? Beside the train operator's manual control capability, there are two principal sources from which a train receives instructions. First, the automatic train operation system, which routinely commands train speeds in local zones and blocks of track. And secondly, central operations, which oversees the entire system. Automatic train operation, or ATO, works on a zone system. In most cases, each BART station is the center of an ATO zone. But it is out here at trackside that a train receives its routine operating speed command, sometimes called the civil speed. For ATO purposes, the main line is separated into blocks, usually 1,000 feet or less. Each block has a speed profile, reflecting the maximum safest speed that a train can travel over that particular section of track. Commands are issued to the train by way of the running rails from these boxes, known as MUX boxes. There's one for each block of track. Now, as well as commanding the safest maximum operating speed in the block, the MUX box can also slow or stop a train. Say there were another train in the next block down the line there. The MUX box in that block would send a message back to this one saying, "Hey, my block's occupied." This one would say, "Okay, I won't let anything else through until you're clear," and change its speed command to 0. At the same time, it would send a message back to the previous MUX box saying, "I'm commanding speed 0, so you'd better start slowing down any train entering your block." And so it goes. Automatically, without any action from the train operator, a safe distance is maintained between trains. If anything blocks the way ahead, the ATO system slows the train and brings it to a complete stop before it enters the occupied block of track. Under routine conditions, the ATO commands BART trains to travel at close to maximum speed. But if schedules or circumstances require it, ATO speed commands can be modified from here. Central control is BART's nerve center. It is located on a lower level of the administrative office building at Lake Merritt Station. From here, a controller can talk directly to a train operator by radio and even address the passengers. The radio telephone is one of the two major communication links between Central and the trains. The other is the data transmission system, which receives signals from every train operating on the main line. Signals that identify the train, its size, and its location. The information is sent by way of this antenna on the train to another antenna above the third rail, and from there to Central's online computer. Here the information is processed and may be retrieved instantaneously for display. The control board shows which sections of the main line are occupied at any given time. Central Operations has responsibility for assuring that trains run on schedule and that all vital systems are operating properly and safely. Central's ability to control the speed at which a train moves through the system is used for schedule adjustments, unscheduled incidents, and unusual circumstances such as adverse weather. The information is transmitted to the trains by way of equipment located at each station, modifying the speed at which the train would routinely travel in response to its ATO command. Any of 5 different speed performance levels may be computer directed from here, depending on the requirement. As well as modifying speed performance levels, Central may further adjust the time a train takes to move through the system by changing the programmed time the train spends at each station. It can do this by overriding the station-based equipment, which normally closes the doors automatically, according to a preset schedule. Train operators, of course, can manually override both local controls and Central's computer command if the situation demands it. But this seldom happens. Controlling dwell time, as the door open period is known, is one of the ways Central's computer keeps BART trains running on schedule. The response to minor deviations in schedule is automatic, correcting the problem with the minimum disruption of normal service. Suppose, however, there were a major delay, a breakdown or an accident, for example, that caused a complete line blockage. The local ATO system would, of course, automatically slow and stop all trains in the vicinity. Central, too, can place a hold on any or all trains if the strategy problem calls for it. Safety is the first consideration in all such problems. The objective, however, is not to bring the system to a halt, but to minimize the effect of stoppages and accidents, causing as little inconvenience and delay to passengers as possible. In far less time than it takes to tell, the computer examines the effect of the stoppage on every other train in that part of the system. It searches out safe, single-line operations to get trains routed around the block section of the main line, and presents controllers with strategy options from which they can select the best course of action to keep the trains moving. Performance level modifications for all trains in the affected area are computed to help minimize the effect of the stoppage on local service. Trains will not be as frequent for a time, but passengers will be spared some of the sporadic service and long waits they might otherwise experience.
Fortunately, such major stoppages rarely happen. Under normal, routine conditions, remember, trains receive their basic speed commands from wayside MUX boxes, while Central monitors their progress through the system, applying whatever adjustments are necessary to maintain schedule.
Trains are protected by the ATO's train spacing safety features, with provisions for human intervention, either by the train operator or by central operations controllers. As well as watching over the trains, Central monitors vital mechanical components in the stations and along the right-of-way and controls the electrification of the entire system. Electrical power is purchased by Bart from PG&E. It enters the system at 7 switching stations, each receiving PG&E's alternating current at 34,500 volts. From there, it is transmitted to traction substations, usually located adjacent to passenger stations. Here, it is rectified to 1,000 volts, direct current, and fed into the third rail. Trains pick up the power through collector shoes, gliding along the top of the third rail, passing it to the 4 electric motors that drive each car's axles. The electrical circuit is completed through the running rails, though these are not live. Only the third rail carries the 1,000 volts. "60-foot gaps in the third rail that the cars cannot electrically bridge divide the electrification of the third rail into sections, enabling Central to cut power to any desired section of track for emergency or maintenance purposes. During the hours trains are not running, maintenance crews use high-rail trucks specially adapted to Bart's 5-foot, 6-inch wide track to move about the system. Markers alongside the main line show distances from the Oakland Y, Bart's mile zero. Seen on the map, Bart's 4 principal lines make a huge X across the Bay Area, with the Oakland Y at its center. Maintenance crews have the important responsibility of maintaining these lines. As well as their work on the track and roadbed, they have responsibility for keeping the system's mechanical and electrical distribution components in good working order. The fans, pumps, ventilation systems, and so on are all essential to the safe, smooth running of the trains and the comfort and convenience of the passengers. Home base for these maintenance crews is the Oakland shops. The shops are fully equipped to handle a wide range of repair and maintenance jobs, ranging from welding to delicate electronics repairs. Routine maintenance of all of Bart's road vehicles is carried out here. The work of maintaining the rolling stock is carried on at the 3 yards, Richmond, Concord, and Hayward. Protective maintenance procedures are performed regularly on all cars, work that ranges from janitorial cleanup to troubleshooting using diagnostic test equipment with its own built-in computer. Defects revealed by the tests can frequently be corrected with minimum delay by interchanging a complete modular unit, plug-in boxes, on the underside of the train that control propulsion, braking, air conditioning, and other essential subsystems. Like the trains themselves, these maintenance shops are roomy, clean, and quiet, a pleasant and efficient work environment for technicians whose skills are so essential to the operation of the Bart system. This turntable is another Bart innovation, adapted from the aerospace industry. It floats on a cushion of air, so reducing friction that one man can easily swing a complete car. Cars are designed to facilitate thorough but rapid maintenance procedures so that they can return to active revenue service with the minimum of downtime. Another system that operates automatically from trackside is the one that activates train information on the destination signs. Most of the time, these signs contain advertising, news, and special messages. But when a train is approaching a station, it sends a message ahead announcing its arrival and where it is going. The information is prominently displayed on the signs, interrupting routine messages. The antenna for the destination sign system is the black strip you see on the third rail cover guard. As the train nears the station, it is automatically slowed by the ATO system. At about this point, another sensing device starts to measure its length so that it may be brought to a halt, again automatically, at the center of the platform. As soon as it stops, the train control equipment starts to count the seconds. After the programmed dwell time, assuming the train is on schedule, the same equipment commands the doors to close and the train is on its way. Meanwhile, a special computer at Central again resumes command of the train destination signs, sending the same messages it sends out to each indicator on every station in the system. There are 34 stations in all, each under the immediate control of one or more station agents. The station agent is the best-known human face of Bart for most of our passengers. A helpful, friendly face with a fund of information, not only about the trains, but about local points of interest and the services of connecting transit systems. To help assure orderly operation and passenger convenience, Bart stations, like the trains, make the fullest use of new technology. These elevators, for example, required by state law for the use of the physically handicapped. They are continuously monitored so the station agent can quickly go to the help of a passenger experiencing difficulties. All station features, whether for the hale or the handicapped passenger, are designed with an eye to aesthetic as well as functional and convenience considerations. Above-ground stations were sensitively planned with due concern for their impact on the local environment. While every station, above or below ground, was individually designed by local architects. Each is a tangible expression of Bart's determination to give the public it serves a pleasing as well as a fast and efficient transit system. That's important, for whatever else may make it run, Bart would quickly come to a standstill without the goodwill and patronage of its fare-paying passengers. Stations have a simple procedure, design own system specifications. Computerized machines write messages on tickets, recording the patron's cash purchase. The ticket is then coded when the patron passes through the fare gates and into the paid area. If for any reason the patron would want to add value to his ticket, he may use the add fare machine. His ticket records this information. These machines contain their own electronics and logic and are virtually theft-proof. It is here, of course, that Bart collects its operating revenues, its money bags. To discourage robberies, the bags remain locked, not only while they're in the machines, but all the time they are being removed and taken to the safety of the Bart Treasury Building. It is only when they arrive at the Treasury Building that the bags are unlocked and the cash counted. Bart's own police officers, all of them certified law enforcement officers, not only provide additional discouragement for would-be robbers, they are another helpful point of contact and goodwill between Bart and its passengers. Most police services work is carried out unobtrusively, of course, without attracting much public attention. But another Bart job deals with the public all the time.
Bart information?
The girls who answer telephone inquiries about Bart's service must not only know the train schedules, they are required to answer questions about connecting transit systems and often respond cheerfully to queries that have nothing to do with Bart.
From here, we monitor all train movement on our 75-mile network.
Answering the public's questions. Another important part of the answer to what makes Bart run. So, too, the work of the many employees whose jobs have not been seen in this film. They all help make Bart run. For Bart is a system with many vital parts, human skills and technical processes, all working smoothly together. It is a transit system that uses the finest tools technology has made available to us. Tools that have taken much of the drudgery out of day-to-day work routines, extending everyone's individual ability to do an essential job well. People and technology working together. This is what makes Bart run. For the people who work here, making it run and keeping it running is more than a job. It's a matter of pride.